In the exam, instead of Solanaceae, they can also ask you to write the characteristic of potato family. Don't get confused. Both are one and the same. It is epipetalous, meaning the stamens are connected to the corolla. So what I'll do, I'll put a symbol like this. Potato is one of the Solanaceae member that has underground stem. Calyx are nothing but made up of units called as sepals. Now if these sepals are free, many in number and free, we call it as polysepalous. And in a flower, if the sepals are fused, we call it as gamosepalous. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to this session on first PUC Biology. I'm Dr. Divya, Biology faculty, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So in this session, let us learn about the characteristics of the family Solanaceae, which is also called as potato family. And along with this, we'll learn some of the symbols used for describing the plant under chapter 5, that is Morphology of Flowering Plants, and learn some of the MCQs regarding this topic. So to begin with, before learning about the family Solanaceae, we need to describe that particular plant, right? So to describe the plant, we have certain rules that are set which we need to follow. So what are the rules? Let's look into. So the rules of describing a typical flowering plant. Morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. So we don't take the section or the anatomy and see what type of cell it is made up of, what type of cell arrangement is there. All that is not considered while describing a flowering plant. It is just that we see how the leaves are arranged, how the petals of a flower are arranged, how many stamens are there, how the carpels are arranged, and what type of root it has, what type of stem it has, the arrangement of leaves, that is the phyllotaxy, the inflorescence, the vegetative characteristic. All these morphological features should be taken into consideration and anatomy should not be touched. So that is the first rule, that is morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. Next, while describing a flowering plant, it should be brief. Say for example, if I say, if you find leaves, that is on the leaves or the stem, if you find hairs that are there on the plant or trichomes that are there on the plant, you don't write it as trichomes are found on the leaves or trichomes are present on the leaves. No, we don't do that. Instead, there are some terms that are there. Say for example, if trichome or if hairs are present on the leaves or the stem, we say it is glabrous. We just write glabrous. Say for example, we write it like this, leaves. Then we put a hyphen and we write glabrous. So glabrous means leaves, that is, it is not hairy. Hairs are absent. If hairs are present, we write it puberous. So it means hairs are present. Where? On the leaves. Now stem. Hairs are present on the stem. We write stem, put a hyphen, and there we write it's puberous, meaning hairs are present. So likewise, say for example, root, we put a hyphen, and do you write that is the primary root will be there for a shorter time, and later on in the region of the primary root, all lateral roots will start develop directly from the stem. Will you write that? It becomes a long description. Instead, we write, what do we write? Fibrous root, meaning what I explained so far. That means fibrous root or tap root. So like that we write. Or flower. So can you write, say for example, we cut the flower into two halves. The flower can be cut into two equal halves. We don't write so much, right? Instead, we write whether it is actinomorphic or whether it is zygomorphic. Like that, we use the terms. So that is how the description has to be very brief and it should be very simple. And we have to use scientific language. Like I told you, we use the word epipetalous. So will you write the stamens are adhering to the corolla? No. Instead, we use scientific words like epipetalous, epiphyllous. So like that we use. So scientific language should be used and it should be present in a proper sequence. Like proper sequence means first we write the vegetative characteristic first, wherein we'll go for the root from the bottom. We'll go for the root, then we'll go for the stem, then the leaves, and then we go in for the floral characteristic, wherein we'll write about the starting from the outer wall. That is, first we go in for writing about the calyx, then the corolla, then the androecium and the gynoecium. That is how in order we have to describe a plant. And also, while describing, the plant should be described right from the habitat. Habitat, where it is present, which areas and all it grows. So we have to start with the habitat or the habit. Then we need to go in for the vegetative characters, that is the root, stem and the leaves. And then we have to go in for the floral characters, wherein we have to write about the arrangement of the flowers on the floral axis, that is the inflorescence, and we have to describe the flower parts as I told you, the calyx, corolla, and then the stem, androecium and the gynoecium. So that is how we have to describe. And after describing the parts of the plant, a floral diagram has to be drawn and the floral formula also should be written. So this is how, these are the rules that any taxonomist should follow while describing a flowering plant. So now we know the rules. So now let's study about the semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. So there are some symbols that are given and some descriptions for that particular symbol which we need to use while writing the floral formula. So let's see what those symbols are. So I told you the flowers, they have the bracts, right? So bracts are nothing but the leaf-like structures that are present at the base of the stalk of the flower or the pedicel of the flower. So if a flower, when you are looking at the morphology of the flower, if there is a bract, then we write it as, or bracteate, then we call it as bracteate flower and it is represented by the symbol Br. Now if the flower doesn't have a bract, then it is called as ebracteate, meaning the bract is absent in that particular flower and it is written as EBR, E for E, that is, and BR for bracteate, ebracteate. Next, talking about the next whorl of the flower or the outermost whorl of the flower, which is the calyx, which is made up of sepals. So now calyx, they could have written C, but they have written K here. Why they have used the symbol K is because for corolla they have used C. Now again, if you write a C or a small letter C, all that is quite confusing, right? So what they have done is, according to the pronunciation, it's K. So calyx, K. So therefore they have used K for calyx. So calyx is represented by capital K. Now there is a term called as polysepalous calyx and gamosepalous calyx. So calyx are nothing but made up of units called as sepals. Now if these sepals are free, many in number and free, we call it as polysepalous. And in a flower, if the sepals are fused, we call it as gamosepalous. If you remember in the previous session, we had taken the example of hibiscus, which was gamosepalous, where the sepals were fused, and rose, which was polysepalous, where the sepals were free. So here again we write the symbol K, wherein at the bottom we write N. So K for calyx and N, that is how many number of calyx is there. So say for example, typically a flower contains 5 number of calyx. There can be 4 numbers also, but usually it is 5 numbers. So we write it as calyx K. How many are there? 5. Now I have just written it as K, that is subscript 5. Why? Because it is polysepalous, the sepals are free. Now if the sepals were fused, again we write it as K and then we write 5 within a bracket like this, meaning if the bracket is there, it means that the sepals are fused. And talking about next word, corolla. Here for corolla, capital C is used, and again here polypetalous and gamopetalous is a term used here. Now, if the petals are free, we call it as polypetalous. Again here, if it is free, for example, 5 numbers of petals are there, we write it C5. And if the petals are fused, we write 5 in a bracket. Next is perianth. So, what is perianth? In a flower, if you can't exactly differentiate which is a petal and which is a sepal, or which is a calyx and which is a corolla, then we call it as a perianth. So, if the flower has a perianth, then we represent it by P. Next, inner whorl, inner to the, that is the corolla. It is the androecium, which is the male reproductive structure. So, it is represented by A. Gynoecium is represented by G, which is the female reproductive structure. Now, again, there is something we need to look at the ovary. Now, if the ovary is superior, ovary is inferior, what do we write for that? If it is a superior ovary is at the top and all the others. So, this line that is there, it is written like this, one line, and on top of it, we write G. So, the line depicts here the sepals, the petals and the stamens, meaning the sepals, petals and the stamens all arise from the base of the gynoecium or the base of the ovary. So, therefore, it is a superior ovary or it is a hypogynous ovary. And now, if it is an inferior ovary, we write a G, and on top of G we write a line wherein the line depicts the sepals, petals and the stamens, that is androecium. Below that the gynoecium is present. So therefore it is G. Now if it is perigynous, again it is represented somewhere here because it has a semi-inferior ovary. Next, talking about you have to see the sexes of the flower, whether it is a male or a female. If it is a male, it is represented by this symbol, and a female by this symbol. It is easy to remember because males are always considered dominant in a society. So therefore, they are depicted with the arrow mark towards the top, meaning they think that they are dominant. So that is the symbol here. And female, this is just, I'm giving you hints to remember because this is how I remembered when I was in my PUC. So that is why. So female, it looks like a mirror. So that typical small mirror that comes, which is beautifully carved and all that. It looks like that mirror which the princes and all used to hold and see themselves. So it is something, females are always beauty conscious. So therefore it looks like a mirror. It is written like this. And for remembering, I'm just telling you. So here next talking about the bisexual flower wherein the male is also depicted here and the female is also depicted. Therefore, it is written with a circle and the arrow mark at the top and the plus symbol at the bottom. So it is a bisexual, meaning in the same flower, both the male and the female reproductive structures are present. Next, talking about the symmetry of the flower. Now, the symmetry, if the flower has a radial symmetry, it is actinomorphic flower wherein it is represented by a circle with a plus sign at the center, and if it is a zygomorphic flower wherein it has a that is parallel symmetry wherein the one half of the flower is exactly the copy of the other half. So that is represented by a percentage symbol, which means that this half is exactly similar to this half. So this is about the symbols. Now let's look into how the floral diagram needs to be drawn. So floral diagram is usually drawn like this, wherein we put a circle and then we represent the sepals. That is, we have to start with the outermost whorl. So outermost whorl here is the sepals, which is nothing but the calyx. It is also called as calyx. Now, sepals are always represented either like this, or you can also represent sepals while drawing like this. It is represented this way. So, here in this flower, there are how many sepals? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, it means that if the flower has 4 sepals have been drawn, and in this case, it doesn't have a particular type of aestivation, but in this case, 2 petals are towards the inside. So, this one, the second petal and the 4th petal, if you see, they are completely towards the inside, and the 3rd and the 1st petal, if you see, they are completely towards the outside. So, that is why they have written it has 2 plus 2, or not the petal, the sepal. Even sepal, if you see, there are 2 sepals are completely towards the inside. That is the 2nd and the 4th one. The 3rd and the 1st one are completely towards the outside. And next, talking about the whorl inner to the sepals, which is nothing but the petals, or it is also called as the corolla. So, corolla are always represented like this. This is how you draw corolla. And this is how you have to draw a floral diagram, because if it is not drawn this way, then you will lose marks. So, how many petals are there? There is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, here it exhibits valvate aestivation. So, what is valvate aestivation? Previous sessions, I have already done that. So, wherein the margins of the flower, if you can see, the tips of the petals, if you can see, they do not overlap one another. They are arranged in one particular margin. So, and the flower has 4 petals. So, 4 petals are represented here. Next, inner to the petal, there is the anther. Now, why the anther is represented in this way? Because a typical anther, for example, this is the anther. If you just take and make a cross section of the anther, you will see a butterfly-like structure wherein 4 pollen sacs are there, and in the pollen sac, the pollen grains will be present. Exactly like this, it will look under the microscope. So, therefore, it is drawn. Again, here if you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 anthers are there, wherein the 1st and the 4th anther are completely towards the outside. The rest 4 anthers are completely towards the inside. Therefore, it is represented as 2 plus 4, wherein 2 anthers are completely outside, 2 anthers are completely inside. And Now, if the anthers, for example, when you are looking at the flower, you find that the anthers are connected to the petals. They are adhering or joining the petals. Then you'll have to draw a line like this. So that is how you do the floral diagram. Next, talking about the innermost wall, which is the female reproductive part, that is the gynoecium. In this case, the gynoecium is bicarpellary, one and second, and they are fused. So they are fused to each other. So they are, and the ovary, while looking at the flower, it is a superior ovary. So that is how you write the floral formula. Now, if you can see here, the flower is actinomorphic. It is a bisexual flower wherein the male and the female reproductive structures are present in the same flower. Next, we went in for the whorl, that is the calyx. Now, here we are not writing about the bracts and all that, because bract is not there. If the bract is not there, you don't write about it also. It is okay, not a problem. And here the calyx, that is the sepals, are arranged in two rows. That is one completely towards the outside and one completely towards the inside. So therefore 2 plus 2 is being mentioned here. Therefore totally 4 calyx. Next comes the corolla, wherein 4 petals are there, and they have valvate estivation, no fusion and all that. So no brackets are being put here. Next comes the andrecium. So in here also 2 anthers are completely outside, 4 anthers are completely inside. That is why they have written 2 plus 4. Next, talking about the gynoecium. The gynoecium is 2 in number. It is meaning it is bicarpellary and they are fused. So therefore it is a syncarpus. So therefore we write it within a bracket, and the ovary is superior, meaning we write G and at the bottom we draw a line. So this is how the floral formula is written. So this was about the semi-technical description. Now we know about this. So we'll study in detail how to describe the Solanaceae member, because this is the only family that has been given in the NCERT textbook. Solanaceae, it is commonly called as potato family. So in the exam, instead of Solanaceae, they can also ask you to write the characteristic of potato family. Don't get confused. Both are one and the same. So it is a very large family and it is widely distributed. So what is its habit? I told you, according to the rule, we have to start with a habit. What is a habit? It's found in the tropics, the subtropics and the temperate zones as well. And the vegetative characters, so the plants are mostly herbs, they can be shrubs and they can be small trees as well. So say for example, potato, they are herbs, and when it comes to brinjal, tomato, chili and all that, they are shrubs. So like that it can. And talking about the stem, so next part is the stem. Root, they have not given anything here. Root, of course, it is a dicot, so it will have a taproot system. Next, stem, herbaceous. The stem is herbaceous. It is not woody. Rarely it is woody, and it is aerial. That is, it is above ground and it is erect. The stem is straight, right? Can you see the stem? It is aerial, above the ground. It is erect, standing straight. So it is erect, standing straight, and it is cylindrical in shape. It is branched. It is solid. Sometimes it is solid because they have a prominent pith, or sometimes they do not have. It can be hollow also, some of the members. And they can be hairy. What is the word or glabrous? That is, glabrous means they can have hairs or they may not have hairs, because under Solanaceae, it's not just potato that comes. Chili, potato, tomato, ashwagandha, then belladonna, then we have tobacco. All these comes under, then Solanum nigrum, Solanum melongena. So all these comes under Solanum tuberosum. All these comes under Solanum itself. And they are underground stem, that especially if it is potato, they'll have an underground stem. That is Solanum tuberosum. Otherwise, all the other Solanaceae members will not have an underground stem. And talking about the leaves are alternate arrangement. What do you mean by alternate arrangement? They'll be arranged like this in an alternate manner. So, they're alternate arrangement. They are simple, that is very simple entire leaf. It is called simple. Rarely they are pinnately compound. Very rare. They are E-stipulate, meaning they don't have stipules. What are stipules? So, stipules are small leaf-like structures that are developed at the leaf base or base of the petiole. Those are stipules. So, exstipulate means they do not have stipules. That is exstipulate, and they have reticulate venation. Of course, because it is a dicot, they'll have reticulate venation. Next, talking about the floral characters. Inflorescence, it can be either solitary, wherein at the tip of the stem or the floral axis only one flower will be produced. It can be solitary or it can be axillary. That is, it is axillary. At the tip of the stem only they will be produced. So, it is axillary. They can be cymose inflorescence. What is cymose? Cymose inflorescence means we'll have the main floral axis, one flower will develop, then next floral axis, one flower will develop, next here also they will end up, here also they'll end up. So, here one floral axis. So, all the tips of the floral axis will end up having a flower. Therefore, it has a limited growth. So, that is called a cymose inflorescence, and always they have basipetal arrangement, wherein at the base the younger flowers will be there and at the top the older flowers will be there. So, that is cymose inflorescence. Flowers are bisexual, meaning the flowers have the male and female reproductive structures in one flower itself, and they are actinomorphic, wherein the flower can be divided into many equal halves. And talking about the calyx, so it is sepals. How many sepals they have? 5. The sepals are united, they are fused, therefore it is gamosepalous, and it is persistent. That is in the fruit. Have you seen the brinjal, chili and all that? The sepal will be there in the fruit itself. It will not fall off. While apples, the sepals will fall off. So, you can't find the sepals in the apples. But in the brinjal and all that, tomato and all that, that green color, it will be there in the fruit itself. So, therefore, it is persistent, meaning present throughout. And aestivation is valvate, wherein the sepals and the petals, the margins will touch each other without overlapping and they are arranged in one margin only. That is valvate aestivation. If you need to know detail what is valvate aestivation, you can go to the previous sessions and have a look. Next, talking about the corolla. Petals are also 5 in number. They are again gamopetalous, that is they are united, and also valvate aestivation itself. Next, talking about the andrecium. How many stamens are there? 5 stamens are there. This is one of the main characteristic of Solanaceae. They are epipetalous, meaning the stamens are attached to the corolla. So, therefore, they are epipetalous. This, you have to mention this while writing the characteristic of Solanaceae, because this is one of the peculiar characteristic of Solanaceae. Next, talking about gynoecium, they are bicarpellary, meaning they have 2 carpels. Carpels are fused, therefore they are syncarpous. The ovary is superior. Now they have a bilocular, meaning they have 2 locules. Placenta is swollen with many ovules. This is also one of the characteristic of Solanaceae. Next, fruits, they are a berry, or you can call them as a capsule also. Seeds, many seeds are there, and the seeds are endospermous, meaning they have an endosperm, which is a nutritive tissue that provides nutrition to the embryo. Now, by just looking at this, can we write the floral formula? We can write it. So, shall we write the floral formula for this? Okay, talking about right from the bract and bracts, it's not there, so I'll not write about it. Flower is bisexual. Okay, aestivation, I'll write with the aestivation. It is actinomorphic, so I will write this is the symbol. Next, I'll talk about the sex of the flower, wherein it is bisexual. So, therefore, this is what I will write. It is bisexual. Next, talking about the calyx. So, calyx, what is the symbol? It is K, right? Sepals are 5. They are united. Okay. Next is corolla. How many? C. Sepals are 5. They are united. Next is andrecium. So, it is represented by capital A. How many stamens are there? 5 stamens are there. So, 5. And it is epipetalous. Stamens are not united, they are free. But it is epipetalous, meaning the stamens are connected to the corolla. So, what I'll do, I'll put a symbol like this. Meaning the andrecium is connected to the corolla. Meaning it is epipetalous. Next, talking about gynoecium G. How many carpels are there? 2 carpels are there. They are syncarpous. They are fused. So, therefore, within the bracket, they are fused. Next, I'll write about the ovary. What is it? Superior ovary. Therefore, where the line will come? Here, down. Finish with the floral formula. So, this was the floral formula. Now, talking about the floral diagram, I've written the symbol actinomorphic, written here. Then this is how, this is the calyx. So I'll just write it as K. This is the calyx, and calyx, they are fused, right? The sepals are fused. So because it is fused, we put the symbol here. And what was the aestivation? Valvate, wherein in the margin only they are present. No overlapping. So it is valvate. Next, talking about the corolla. This is the corolla. Corolla are also fused to, petals are also fused to one another. That is why they put this like this, meaning it is fused. Next, here we have drawn a line. If you see here, a line is drawn to each stamen or anther. Why is that? Because it is epipetalous, meaning the anther is connected to the anther is connected to the corolla. It is epipetalous, right? It is attached to the corolla. So therefore, this is a symbol. So how many are there? Now count the calyx. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Calyx is 5. They are gamosepalous, meaning they are fused, and aestivation is valvate. Drew it, right? Next is talking about the corolla. Corolla are also 5 in number. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 in number. They are fused. We have shown it as fused, and aestivation is again valvate here. Next, stamens, they are arranged in one row only. How many stamens are there? 5 stamens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they are attached to the corolla. Therefore, here everywhere we have drawn this line. They are attached to the corolla. This is also done. And next, talking about the gynoecium, innermost wall. How many carpels? 1, 2 carpels are there. Many ovules inside each locule. So that is how the placentation is. It is represented. It's so simple. If you know the characteristics, easy to draw the diagram. And we also wrote the floral formula according to the characteristic that is given. So this was about the floral characteristic. And next, let's learn some of the economically important Solanaceae members. So we have for food, there are some Solanaceae members which can be eaten, like for food, tomato, brinjal, potato. So there is tomato. So brinjal is here. Solanum melongena is brinjal, B-R-I-N-J-A-L. And tomato, Solanum tuberosum. Solanum tuberosum is potato, tomato, Solanum lycopersicum. So brinjal, tomato, they are used as food. Then for spices, chili is used as a spice. So chili. Next, for medicine, belladonna. Belladonna is used as a medicine. This actually produces some black color fruits. Okay, so this is belladonna. It's used as a medicine. So for stomach ailments and all, they can use this. And ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a common medicine wherein the stem part, this portion that is there, no, this is used. They'll dry it and use it as a medicine. So you can prepare concoctions out of it, or you can just chew the stem. So it has a lot of good properties in it. Ashwagandha, which is commonly you get lot of Ayurvedic medicines which has ashwagandha in it. So this is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha. Then there is something that is used as fumigatory. So what is fumigatory? Fumigation means, you might have seen in the olden days, that is traditional method of running away the mosquitoes, wherein you want to get rid of the mosquitoes. Your mother would have put some dupa and all that, and then held it around the house, wherein the smokes or fumes will come out of it, and that has some antiseptic and antibacterial properties, and it has some anti-repellent properties, wherein it can it has some repellent properties wherein it can repel the mosquitoes, insects and all that. That is nothing but fumigation. So fumigation, a good fumigatory is a tobacco. So tobacco leaves, they burn it, and can be used for shooing away mosquitoes, insects and all different sorts of pests and all that. So that is nothing but fumigation, and the best fumigator is tobacco. Next, ornamentals. Those are flowering plants which can be grown in the garden to beautify the house. So these are ornamental. So this is petunia. Petunia, different beautiful colors of petunias are available with a single and double shade and all that. So they are grown in gardens for beautifying that particular area. So that is about the economic importance of different Solanaceae members. So now let's look into the MCQs. So in the floral formula, K, capital K stands for calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. No, it is calyx. because corolla is represented by capital C. This is the right answer. Andrecium is represented by capital A and gynoecium is represented by capital G. Based on these also questions can be framed. Next, in the floral formula, P stands for perigynous. No, because perigynous we can write it this way. Perianth, it is perianth because perianth is represented by a capital P. Petals, no, because petals is nothing but corolla, so it is represented by C. Placentation, no, it doesn't have a symbol. Right option here is option B. Next, this symbol in the floral formula means superior ovary. No, if it was superior ovary, the symbol would be this. Perigynous ovary, as I told you, symbol would be this. Or semi-inferior ovary, we can call it. Inferior ovary. This is an inferior ovary. So, this symbol means inferior ovary. Hypogynous ovary is again superior ovary itself. So, it will be this symbol. So, the right option here is option C. Next question. Superior ovary in the floral formula is represented by O. No, we never use O as a symbol to represent the gynoecium. It is not used. So, this is wrong. This also you can eliminate. Remaining is this and option B and D. So, here superior ovary. So, if it is this is inferior ovary. Inferior. This is superior ovary. Or they can ask, change the question like this. Hypogynous ovary in the floral formula is represented by, because hypogynous means superior, perigynous means semi-inferior, epigynous means inferior ovary. So, based on those terms also question can be asked. The symbol to represent actinomorphic is, so this is a symbol for actinomorphic, this is zygomorphic. Option A is the right answer here. The rest two, they are wrong. It's not correct. Next, epipetalis andrecium is represented as dash in the floral formula. Epipetalis. So, epipetalis, what does epipetalis means? To the corolla, the andrecium is attached or stamens are attached like this, right? So, to the corolla, it is attached to the corolla. Petalis, the word itself there is there. Petalis. Petal means corolla. So, it is attached to the corolla. So, option B is the right answer here. If this was the, no, this is not the answer because this K stands for calyx. So, that is why. Next, dash is true about Solanaceae members. Racemose inflorescence, no, because Solanaceae members have cymose inflorescence. So, not this. Zygomorphic estivation, no, because they have actinomorphic estivation. Underground stem, vexillary estivation is also wrong because they have vexillary estivation is wrong because they have valvate estivation, that is why. The right answer here is underground stem, that is especially potato. Potato is one of the Solanaceae member that has underground stem. So, option C is the right answer for this. Next one. Dash is not a characteristic feature of Solanaceae member. What is the question? Not a characteristic feature. Epipetalis is a characteristic feature of Solanaceae member. So, this option we can't select. Valvate estivation is a characteristic. So, this one also I can't select. Alternate phyllotaxy, umbellate inflorescence. Alternate phyllotaxy, yes, because the leaves are arranged alternately. Umbellate inflorescence is the right option because they don't have umbellate inflorescence, but they have cymose inflorescence. Now, what is umbellate? I'll just tell you. So, we have the floral axis and from one point, all the flowers, they'll arise in one plane itself like this. Have you seen touch me not flower? That shows umbellate. So, this is umbellate. So, all of them, they form like in one line only, they'll be arranged, but they having different lengths of pedicel or stalk of the flower. So, that is umbellate. So, Solanaceae members do not show umbellate inflorescence. They have cymose inflorescence. So, therefore, option D is the right answer here. Next. Dash is a Solanaceae member that is medicinal. Petunia. Petunia is ornamental. Chili is a spice. Tobacco is a fumigator. It is ashwagandha. Or the option can be belladonna also. Both are one and the same because belladonna is also medicinal under Solanaceae. So, right answer here is ashwagandha. So this was about the session wherein we learnt about the characteristics of Solanaceae family, learned how to draw a floral diagram, write the floral formula and the technical terms that are used to describe a flowering plant. And also we learned some of the MCQs. So this was about the session wherein the chapter comes to an end. So I hope you understood the session well. We shall meet again in the coming session wherein we'll take up a new topic and under a new chapter and study the MCQs under it. So see you in the next coming session. Thank you.